everybody. Hi, everybody. Oh my goodness. It's wonderful to watch you come into the room. You can see me. Ah. Oh my goodness. I hope I don't start crying just from the get-go. And I don't have any tissue. I thought about it right before I pressed go. I was like, well, I don't have any tissue. Shit. I thought I would wear my graduation robe one more time because I wore it for Crystal Masters and it was kind of cool, you know? When I am initiating, when I am graduating people, I always have worn this gown, and so hopefully this kind of, you know, reassures you or, you know, reminds you that this is a real graduation tonight. We're doing session 4, we're doing our crafting. So we are going to be crafting a card together. And I've been channeling this afternoon a symbol, another symbol. I know, you should wear your crowns. I should have worn my crown. You should wear your crown. I don't want to take time to go put my crown on, but you should wear your crown. But this is a real graduation. You are really graduating. You really worked your tail off this year. And you worked your tail off in a year when a lot of people just said, you know what? This year's too much. I'm just going to do status quo. I'm going to keep it easy. I'm going to keep it steady. A lot of people said that this year, and they're not wrong, right? But you didn't. You said, you know what, this year is difficult, but I'm still going to achieve. I'm going to rise, right? And Sparrow, whose real name is Sparrow, but I call her Sparrow because I pronounce it like a Greek person, also got her master's in counseling this week. I mean, you guys, I just hope you know how I bow to you. This was a difficult year by anyone's measure. And what you said to this year is, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. Tonight I'm initiating you as priestesses. I have our vows. Are you ready to recite your vows? I wrote a whole new set of vows for tonight's initiation. Channeled them, really. I felt like they came from spirit. I felt like I put my hands on the keyboard and the keyboard just went doot, 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 doot. I think we all said that to this year. I think we all looked at this year and said, and here's one of my mentors when I was very young, 18 or 19 years old. I don't know if you saw, but I have funded through Sage Goddess. I have funded 3 scholarships this year at El Camino College here in Los Angeles. And I funded those scholarships in the name of my mentors, my first professors there, who have both passed away. One of them passed away about 10 years ago, and the other one passed away this last year. Before the pandemic started, she died. And through Sage Goddess, and so thank you, because your support allows me to do things like this, I'm paying for 3 students their tuition for this academic year. And I'm mentioning this to you because I'm doing that because that's where I got my start, right? One of the things we want to think about on the night that we are being initiated, yeah, it's been amazing. And I posted, actually, if you look on my personal Facebook page, I posted the thank you letter that I just got from one student who I actually funded this last year. And she's a single mom. So you get to set, when you fund a scholarship, you get to tell the college what your criteria are. And what I've asked is for students who are from underrepresented groups, and I asked them to prioritize single mothers. And you might say, well, why did you do that? I am not a single mother. But so what that means is if someone applies for my scholarship and they are a single mother from an underrepresented group, they're going to be kind of at the front of the line. And the reason I did that is because I really have this deep respect for women who are parenting by themselves. Parenting is hard, even when you have a partner and even when you have a family and people around you, but I can't even imagine what partnering or parenting is like when you don't have that. So those are my criteria that I said I would like for someone to be from an underrepresented group who's trying to be a single parent. But it doesn't have to be a single mom, it could be a single father too. Were you a single mom doing it? I honestly don't know how they do it. I sincerely don't. Like anytime I feel like I want to complain about anything in my life, I stop and go, nope, there's somebody out there who's doing it with less help. So shut up. You have it easy, right? So anyway, I'm sharing this with you because my hope is after tonight, one of the things you'll start to think about is how do you give back? And you don't have to give back money. It was really only the last couple of years that I started doing scholarships and things like this. You don't have to give back money. You can give back love. You can give back attention. You can give back mentoring. You can give back kindness where you feel like you would normally be, right? Where you feel like you would normally be unkind, you can give back by choosing to be kind. So with your permission, what I would like to do for part of tonight is talk about what it means to, and I love seeing your comments in the feed, by the way, because I know a lot of you are single moms, and I just want you to know it is really true. The moment I start to complain in my life about anything, and Dave would tell you this, I stop myself and go, not complaining today. I have someone else in the house who's helping me. I'm just not complaining today, you know? Everyone, there's always someone who has it a little bit harder than you do, no matter who you are and where you are. But I want to spend a little bit of time tonight talking to you about what it means to me to become a priestess. Is that okay? I'd like to talk about that. Because, oh, very amazing. Yes, Denise said she just did something similar. Denise Campbell and I go way, way back and have a lot in common. So usually she and I are on the same wavelength, whatever we're doing, the other one's doing. So welcome in, and thanks you guys. Is that okay to talk about what it means to be a priestess? I would really like to discuss that because I think it's important. You're becoming this thing tonight, right? And we've talked about priestessing all year because priestessing is really nothing more than leadership. Priestessing is learning how to lead yourself and others in alignment with your mission for being here. That's what priestessing is. But priestessing has certain, what are the words? Like requirements for me or certain qualities for me that I would like for you to think about as you're taking this step and going into this new arena. So I have some thoughts to share with you around that. So, session 4, our last class of 2020. Oh my goodness. You know, I'm a fan of, I've told you this before, of in-the-moment teaching, right? Or case-in-point teaching, where we kind of acknowledge where we are and who we are and what's going on. Can we all take a collective moment right now to acknowledge that this is our last class of 2020? A lot of what this class was this year, I'm probably going to cry all night, so just it'll get weird and ugly, but we gotta work with it. A lot of what this class is and was birthed in an ayahuasca ceremony in October of 2019. And that was the first ayahuasca ceremony where my dad's mom came and spent time with me, a couple of hours, in fact. And I never got to know her very well because she lived in Greece and it's hard to get there. My parents didn't have much money to travel. But that was always my wish, was to get to know her well. When she passed away, I was very sad. But I felt okay because I knew my dad had told me that she had a picture of me on her nightstand by her bed. So she knew what I looked like, and ooh. So I was always okay. Yeah, and you're all named behind me, by the way. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So this ayahuasca ceremony in October was the first time where I really got to spend time with her. She came for a long time in the journey, and it was an amazing experience. And that was the journey where I channeled and downloaded the Angela Foe's symbols. And my grandmother's name is Fo Tini, which means light of God. And so the angelo is the angels and phos is the light. So when you ask yourself, you know, why Angelophos, or why those symbols, or why that name, it's because it really in so many ways was an honoring of the fact that she came and spent that time with me. And in that hour or two, oh goodness, I know. In that hour or two, I really felt like I caught up for the however long I would have had with her if I'd known her better before she died, right? And so these symbols that I've given to you this year are a gift from her. And that's why it's been so special for me for you to receive them. And there were some parts of the year where, candidly, you know, I think a good teacher at the end of a year reflects on what went well and what wasn't, what could have been better, you know what I mean? And I will tell you, a lot of the things that I think could have been better or better organized in Soul Shift are already addressed in 2021. I think you're going to find that the curriculum kind of holds together a little bit better in 2021, but the Angelophos had to be there because it came from her. And if any of you have had that experience of like not getting to know a grandmother or a relative, and then they come, it's like, you know, if they give you a gift, it's so important to weave that into the fabric of whatever comes together. And I'm sharing all of this with you because I just want you to know the heart and soul intention of what I brought to you this year. You know, when I teach a class, it's not like, or it used to be like, oh, I'm teaching you grammar, or I'm teaching you leadership, or I'm teaching you. But this year I feel like I was teaching you my lineage in a way, or transmitting to you some language from some other place that I didn't even know how to speak yet, you know? I got those symbols and then it was like, I handed them off to you, and I probably before I even knew what they meant. So I think we kind of fumbled together to try to understand what all of this meant for us. And I think she gave those things to me as a gift before this impossible year. When I would question the light, when I would question the goodness of people, you know, when I would question whether we were going to make it, you know, those symbols for me have been a way of activating this hope that comes from below me and comes from above me and comes from the east and comes from the west. Do you know what I mean? And I really wanted, I kind of held this story until tonight because I wanted to tell you this afterward, in the light of the totality of the experience. But I totally hear, you know, some people were like, well, I don't get it. The symbol isn't necessarily connected to the pillar isn't necessarily connected to, you know what I mean? It's like, how do I put this all together? And my answer sometimes was, I don't know. I don't always know. It's the weirdest thing after having been trained as an academic, where the curriculum is like A to B to C to D, you know what I mean? It's the weirdest thing to come in and tell you in complete clarity that I don't really know where we're going or what we're doing or why it all came together this way. You know, it's like, I feel kind of bad telling you that. I'm a curriculum development expert. I should be able to tell you what the learning objectives are and how A relates to B, and like, you know what I mean? I should be able to do that. And I think through Soul Shift, the universe has also taught me that I can teach differently and that there's a space for it. And that maybe that's some part of the magic of the world, do you know? That there are places you can go where A plus B equals C, you know what I mean? Every single time, and you can get that, and it's replicatable, and we can test it, and you know what I mean? There's places to go for that. But there aren't a lot of places to go where something's coming from somewhere else, and there aren't a lot of places where I could be candid enough with you to say, I don't know why. I'm trying, you know, my job I think is to listen, and it's not always easy, and it's very sad this year because I haven't been able to work with medicine, so, you know, I've just kind of had to trust the process. Thank you for your comments. But I wanted you to know that I feel like my grandmother was here with us this year. And so I want to thank her because I always wondered what it would it be like to get to know her really. I know all the stories from my dad, of just what an amazing woman she was, and how much like me she was. I look like her. And my dad's stories of growing up, I love listening to these stories. He knows I love it. He tells me as often as he can, of, being, because my dad was the youngest and the war had started, right? So my grandmother was immediately, as soon as she gave birth to my dad, she was distracted. And so it was his older sisters who really raised him. But he idolized, my grandmother. And the stories of him being 2 or 3 or 4 years old, and kind of like his first memories of her are in the kitchen, and she's taking roses and she's simmering them in olive oil and she's making these ointments. And he said, she and your great grandmother used to sit in this room, and people would come, they would sail by boat, and they would come because they made these like salves and ointments and oils. And he's like, I didn't know what they were doing, but people would come and they would touch the people, and like work with them, and they were well known for this. And he would just tell me, it's so amazing to see you. Like, I smell the perfumes, and now he makes the samples, right? So thank you for letting me share a little bit of this story with you, because when there were moments this year that didn't quite hang like perfect curtains on a rod, I want you to know it drove me crazy too. Because I really, my Venus is in Virgo. I really like structure and order, and I like simplicity. I really value those things. And I think you'll find next year is a little more structured, and I don't know, maybe it won't be quite as fun. I don't know. There is something serendipitous about just kind of letting things fall where they are. But I wanted to thank you, because you, in a little way, you went on a journey this year without necessarily knowing where it was going. And aren't we all going on a journey right now that we don't necessarily know where it's going? I mean, if I were to really ask you in this moment, do you know where next year is going? Can you in your heart of hearts really say that you do? With conviction, because I can't say that I totally know where 2021 is going. I have a good feeling about it though. And I feel like my spirit guides have been trying to get me to remain in this place of hope and optimism, and that's why I'm sharing that with you too. And I certainly think that this week, when we have Christmas and Christ consciousness in the field, because here's the thing, even if you don't celebrate Christmas, always hear me saying it doesn't matter. It's just like if you don't celebrate Hanukkah, you can still light a candle for freedom. You know what I mean? Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, you can light a candle for this idea of universal and unconditional love, of redemption and liberation, right? We can all kind of hold that space. So we don't know where it's going, but here's what we do know. And this is where I can kind of rest into, and maybe it's helpful for you too. Because I'm like Janina, I don't know where we're going, but I have faith, right? We know where we've been. We know. I mean, and we're going to know even more after January, right? Because January is all the work on your lineage. Physical lineage, spiritual lineage, star lineage, all of that is going to come together for you. And there's going to be some information that comes through, I think, to you. Even if you think you know everything there is to know about your lineage, I still think there's some places for us to explore. But we know where we've been, and what's most important, I think, is we know who we are. I think you know who you are better right now than you did in January. That's if you want to know how to know whether I think you graduate tonight, that is the only question I would ask you. If I was giving you a final exam tonight, and I'm not, for God's sake, but if I was, what I would ask you tonight is, do you know yourself a little bit better today than you did January 1st? Is there anything you know better or trust more in the integrity of your being tonight? Do you know better how you respond to a certain situation than you did January 1st? Do you know a little bit more about your resilience and your strength? Do you know more about your relationships? Or if not, do you know more about how you show up to your relationships? Under stress, under tension, if that's a yes, then that is a yes for me too. That is the shift. Because if you think about it, that is like one turn of the wheel, right? Every year of your life is this samsara. It's this eternal wheel that we're on, of this cycle that we go through of death and rebirth, right? We're kind of trapped in that cycle of samsara. But every time we turn the crank one more time, you know, of knowledge, of awareness, of sovereignty, of like, no, this is who I am and what I can do. You know? And it's even little things, you know? It's even little awarenesses. It doesn't have to be anything huge. It can be something small about like, you know what? I don't need to impress people. I don't need to, you know, approach my family with frustration every single time we get together. I also don't need to be codependent for other people. I can let them struggle a little bit because I know they're learning. These are incremental little awarenesses that over time become the massive paradigm shifts in your life that ultimately yield health and abundance and growth and all of that, right? And this year did. I think, you know, Lindsay said this year was a test. Will I respond differently or be the previous me? And she said, I passed. I reactivated in a way to be proud of. As a teacher, you know that's everything for me. It's everything for me. I used to teach students, you know, I don't know, about conjunctions, right? A and the in sentences. And I would think, and you know, when to use a semicolon between two complete thoughts that are related or between items in a series after a colon. You know, and I would think to myself at the end of a grammar lesson, are they going to remember that? When to use a semicolon after two complete thoughts that are actually complete sentences, you know, between those two, or after a colon if the items in a series contain multiple thoughts or commas. Will they remember that? And then I thought, what they're really going to remember are maybe some of the other life lessons that I share with them, right? Or they're going to remember their experience of like overcoming obstacles. That you know, some of them had a really difficult time that semester, but they still passed the class. Or maybe there was one time where we all sat around in the circle and I said, you know what, let's not talk about grammar today. Let's talk about what it means to become an adult. You know, I was teaching 18-year-olds. What does it mean to become an adult? You're all away from your parents in some cases for the first time. What have you learned this year? And they went around the circle. I learned how to have a credit card. Well, that's a huge thing. Did you run up a bunch of debt? No. And I'd be like, high five, you know, and that might be the thing they remember. So I do love grammar, I have to say, and I am picky about grammar, and I'm judgmental about it. Sorry, but I am. But I'm telling you, some of the things that you might walk away with remembering from this class may surprise you in the fullness of things. You might say, it's interesting that that's the thing I really remember. But for each one of my teachers in my life, I've had a couple of sentences or keywords or concepts that, like, when I think of them, that's what lodges in my brain. That's what lodges in my brain. So hopefully I've left you with a couple of things this year where you're like, when you, almost maybe when you can hear me when I'm not there, you know, like, oh, I can hear Athena and she's telling me not to do that. You know, maybe I should approach it differently. So Sheila said, I finally got over my ex this year. That's huge, right? Because when we finally get over someone that we're not in relationship with anymore, we make space for a new relationship to come. People don't realize that that's why they're not manifesting a new relationship, is because they're still tethered to this old relationship. And once they let that relationship go, then it's like they open a door to a whole new life. So thank you for that, Stephen. You can carry me in your pocket a little bit. Love you guys. Okay. Ooh, we have work to do tonight. Thank you for that. And thank you, Grandma, for the gift you've given me so long after you've been gone. They don't go anywhere. They're right there. They're this close. They're that close. So in your kit this year, I'm gonna burn some stuff because I don't know, I just need to burn some stuff. It makes me feel better. Oh, I love that. Rosemary said, this class has changed the way I react to things, and yes, I do hear your voice in my head. But I'm so grateful that it's changed the way you react, because your reaction is everything. Your reaction is your reality, right? When stuff happens, the way you react is your reality. And you learn, I don't want to react like that. And sometimes you check each other, right? Like even in my relationship with Dave, sometimes what I do is I don't say anything in the moment. Usually he doesn't either. But like the next day or 2 days later, he'll say, you could have done better. You could have done better. You came in hot to that. You could have done better. Or I'll say, you know what? I love you. You could have done better. And I wait, because you can hear that a little differently when you have some space from it. And both of us are in the place where we always say to each other, you know what? You're right. I could have done better. Thank you for being a good teacher. And I will do better next time, right? Because we still, both of us and all of you probably, I mean, if you're honest, we all still make some mistakes sometimes. We don't show up to occasions exactly the way we want to, in the right state of embodiment, right? So there's room for growth. So I'm burning some stuff. I've got your opening and closing incense, which I love, and it has copal in it, so that has to be there. Ooh, bonfire's good for tonight, Lori. I like that. Really, Randy, thank you for that. Anger never gets a good result. Anger feels good for a minute. For some people, it really does feel good. Some people want to be angry. I had a customer write in to me on private message, and my private messages on Facebook, there's like 1,000 of them. Okay, it's just because it's my profile's public, right? And we have 1 million people in our community, so people just message there 24 hours a day. So even if I want to respond to someone, I literally go in and I can't find it, right? So I'm laying in bed, was it 2 nights ago? My spirit guides are like, go to your private messages. I'm not kidding, okay? And there's a woman and she's very upset. This is a customer. But she's not in programs. She's very upset because one of the things she ordered for a holiday gift arrived broken, and this was a very important gift, and she waited a long time for it, and she's upset. And I'm reading the private message, and I'm laying in bed, and I can feel the energy of it, right? So I write back to her and I say, I'm seeing this, and my spirit guides led me to it, and I'm gonna fix this for you. I'm gonna resend all your gifts, but it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm in bed, and there's nothing I can do right now. My team is not working. We don't open until 9:30 tomorrow. And I will make this right for you, and I'm sorry. So I'm reading her private message, and she writes back, well, this is just unacceptable. I mean, she's really angry, right? And I'm like, listen, I totally hear you. I'm laying in bed. I'm going to fix this for you tomorrow. I'm really sorry. I can feel the energy of it. And so the next day, she writes me, and she says, I'm really sorry I came to you like that. You know what I mean? I didn't know if you'd respond, and all those things, and I'm really sorry, and I'm angry because I really am disappointed, and these are important gifts for me. And I was like, you don't have to apologize. I would be upset too. I mean, it's not cool. You know what I mean? That your stuff arrived broken. I didn't package it, but my team did, and I'm responsible for that, and we're gonna make this right. So I overnighted all of her stuff that she ordered to her again. But anger feels good in the moment, and if you think, well, I don't know if the person's gonna hear me, or I don't know if they're gonna respond, or all these things, but then when we take a breath, that's what the sacred pause thing is all about. When you take a breath, you go, you know what? I could have come at that a slightly different way. Showing up angry and hot usually gets you met with anger and hot. And one of the I think one of the skills of a priestess is we have to learn how to diffuse a situation. So if someone comes at you hot, you got to learn how to not come back at them hot. And that's really hard. Because a lot of times when people come at you hot, the first thing you want to do is come back at them hot, but you can't do that, right? I love that, Stephen. I see you. So I think it's really important. It's like the anger comes up, but what you have to ask yourself is, why am I feeling this? And is this what I want to embody in this moment? Long term. Maybe right now it feels good, like, I'm mad, you're gonna know about it, you know? But like, is that person I'm talking to really the person that I'm angry at? And do I wanna show that to them? What if that person comes back to me and they're really gentle? Will I feel good about being, or having been as angry as I was? Will I feel good about it? I don't know. So you take a breath. Ooh, interesting. Do you see Deb Cerna's comment? It says, I always say, he who angers you controls you. There's a different perspective. There's a shift, right? Do you want to be controlled by that, right? Anger is a very challenging emotion, but on the other side of anger is what? What's on the other side of anger? It's compassion. People who are angry are very, very sad. A lot of times when people are angry, it's because for some reason angry at you, it means you're pushing the anger button, right? But if you pushed a different button, they'd be in tears in 2 seconds. I'm not saying to do that, but I'm just saying if someone comes at you and they're, oh, I wish you could smell that copal. If someone comes at you and they're angry, it's because you're pushing that button. And if you push slightly to the right, they're going to start crying. There's always sorrow under anger. And if you want to help them, you want to figure out what's under that anger. And later on, this person revealed to me that she doesn't think she has long to live. That's the end of that story. She doesn't think she has long to live. How upset would you be if you ordered a gift for someone and you don't know if this is the last Christmas you have with them and it arrived broken? How upset would you be? I'd be pretty upset. And I was like, no, that's exactly why this has to be fixed for you right away. It's an urgent priority. But, you have to, right? What if I didn't know that? What if I responded in heat back to her? Well, you can just blah, 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 right? What if? That's why my spirit guides woke me up. Go to your private messages. All her gifts had to be right this year. Yeah. And it made me really glad I responded the way I did, right? It's like, how can I make this right? You never know. You never know what someone's going through, even when they are so angry and so frustrated. And so what I'm going to tell you about this world and COVID and this year and everything else, just be gentle with folks, Give them 5 extra feet. Give them a benefit of the doubt. Just be gentle. You don't know what people are going through. It's that old quote from Homer, right? Be gentle. Everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. Everyone this year is either fighting a health battle, a financial battle, an interpersonal battle in a relationship. They're fighting a battle with their children. They're fighting I've got multiple friends in custody battles with exes and all of these things. I mean, everybody's fighting a battle and it may not be your battle. And you could say, well, that's not my fault or my problem. But I'm pretty sure you're getting initiated as a priestess tonight. And so I think it is your problem. Not everyone signs up to be a priestess. And yeah, you can communicate, that's right, Morgan, you can communicate the same message, but just be gentle. You just don't know what people are dealing with, right? Just a little bit of grace. That's right, Dina Boyer. What a beautiful way of saying it. And by the way, all of her replacement gifts arrived this morning. We didn't solve all the problems, but we solved a problem. Okay, so I want to talk to you a little bit about what priestessing means to me. And then I'm going to read our priestess invocation. I do want to talk about what's behind me. Priestessing is every damn day. Priestessing is every damn day. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It isn't something where you're just a mom or a partner or a friend or a wife or a neighbor or whatever, and then once a month you do a full moon ritual and you put on a crystal crown and now you're poof a priestess. I mean, it could be to you if that's what you want it to be. To me, it's not. I priestess with my kids, I priestess with my parents, I priestess with my brother and sister, I priestess with the lady on Facebook, I'm priestessing with old friends from high school. I'm priestessing with I'm priestessing with, the delivery people today. I'm priestessing with them. And it doesn't mean that you're a doormat or you just let whatever happens, but it does mean you rise to the occasion. Because this is a choice that you made. This is not, nobody dragged you in here and said, you will be a priestess. You said, hey, you know what? I think I'm on a different path. I think I have a different calling. And it is a choice every day, Lorian. That's exactly right. Janet said, I've walked the path of death with my sister and brother-in-law as they were passing from cancer. That life lesson will teach you what's important in life. In a heartbeat, it'll teach you. In a heartbeat, it'll teach you. So the wise learn before that. They don't wait for those lessons. And life is gentler on them. If you wait for the lessons, life has to teach them to you. So don't wait for the lessons, right? Has what your thoughts on priestessing changed this year? From Morgan. Can I take just a minute to think, or like 20 seconds to think about that for a second? I really want to sit with that question. It's such a great question. I don't know if it's changed, Morgan, but I think it has become refined. I think it's become refined. And thank you for letting me just take up, because I really, questions are important. Like when we're done tonight, I might go journal about that, Morgan. So thank you for that. I have learned this year that that leadership really matters to me. If there's something in this world that makes me feel safe, it's leadership. I like being led. I like having steady, strong voices and perspectives in my life, and I like being able to trust and have faith in those. And it's really important to me. And I've also learned that that what makes me feel safe too is integrity. That knowing that I can trust that leadership and that voice and that direction. That it has my highest good in mind as it's developed. That's what's become clear to me this year. It's really funny because in a lot of my early training, I was sort of being groomed for potentially one day a position in public service. I was being trained as a university professor and then ultimately university president, but my early mentors were always saying, oh, one day you should become a congressman, or you should go into the, run for the Senate or whatever, start with mayor, and then, And I always thought before this year that maybe I didn't want to do public service. But there's part of me that's thinking that maybe in my later years that I would want to be in some kind of public service capacity. I don't think on a national level or even a statewide level, but I have thought about maybe stepping up more in my community this year than I have thought about in previous years, or becoming involved maybe in the school board, which would be very appropriate for me given my educational background. I have really thought about that. So thank you for asking me that question and giving me the space to answer it. I have really realized, I think of myself as a public servant, but in such a, I don't know that I'm changing the lives of my community directly. And there's something this year that has told me that maybe that would be a valid our school superintendent is very political, and I don't always know that he has the best interests of the children in mind. I'm a little critical of that person. And so part of me is like, maybe I can go and do something to be an advocate for children, you know what I mean, or education, or improving systems, or just being a voice of, bringing priestessing to something in the public seems good. So maybe I would do that in 10 years or something like that if I have the opportunity. So thank you, because I feel like I'm not doing enough for the people who are closer to me. I feel like there's something in Los Angeles that I could be doing that would be more profound, and I haven't found out what that is. So I've asked my spirit guides to kind of show me what that would look like. Thanks, you guys. That was very sweet. I leave it to the guides, you know. But who's looking out for the kids right now? I don't know. That concerns me. They have to run this show when we're gone. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to be able to do this forever. How do we make it better for them? Okay. So priestessing for me, is actually precisely that. And maybe Morgan sort of teed up that question so that we would think about this, what priestessing is. I think priestessing for me is a figuring out how to be appropriately of service. And not from an ego place, and not from a power place, and not from a, I'm going to put some more copal on. Where did I put my incense? There it is. Not from any of those places, but from a place of how do we leave this in a better state? Are we leaving it in a better state? What does it mean to leave it in a better state? And I want to encourage you this year as initiated priestesses in 2021 to look around and ask yourself, got a lot of buchu here. I don't want to fall asleep, but that would be nice for a little bit. How to ask, thank you, Karen, how to be of greater service in your local spaces. What would that look like for you? And it could be a very small role that you play. It could just be being a voice of reason on Nextdoor, you know what I mean? Or if you have that where you live. Yeah, the podcast could be good. I do think the podcast is going to happen. A friend of mine introduced me to a publicist who wants me to write a book in 2021. I don't know. I mean, that took a lot out of me the last time I did it. So I don't know if I want to write a book. But or just volunteering, you know what I mean? Just volunteering a little bit of your time, 5 hours a week or something, to figure out, is there something local in your community? Yeah, Vanessa said, I like the definition about walking the middle path, listening, watching, learning, and helping. And people will come to trust you if they know that you're not always going to jump and take a side. That's how people start to develop trust in your integrity. If they know they can come to you, and even if they share an opinion that you don't agree with, you're not going to go, oh, well, I can't, I don't agree with that, or that's not. People will trust you as a leader when they know that you have an open mind and you're not always thinking that you're right and everybody else is wrong, right? So Kelly asks, as a priestess, how do you work through being critical of others who recognize you disagree with, yet you want them to succeed in their dreams, just not participating in their ego? That's a great question. This may sound, I don't know how it'll sound to you. I no longer in my practice or my life assume that I know whether someone's participating in their ego or not. I don't know. There are times where it probably looks like that to me, but their spirit guides know they're not, or where it looks like they're not to me and their spirit guides know that they are. I found a lot of spiritual peace once I stopped making assumptions about people. Because the reality is, no matter who it is, you're still making an assumption. Even if it's your spouse, you're making an assumption. I've been with David for 20 years. I don't know every single thought in his heart, emotion in his spirit, direction from his guides. I don't. So even with him, I can assume that I know everything about what he thinks and what he's doing, but I'm making an assumption. And here's the other part. I also don't assume that they know. What if they don't know where they're coming from with it? Some people are very conscious about the decisions they're making and where they're coming from. So the only assumption I make is that I don't know. I don't know. I have to trust your intentions. I have to trust your wisdom. And because every time I've made an assumption about somebody else, I've been wrong. And then I'm like, why did I do that? You know what I mean? And think about this, would you want them to make the assumption about you? Like, you wouldn't want that, right? And I'll tell you something, again, when someone knows, yeah, see, Christian, so Hope is saying that about Joe, and you guys just celebrated a big anniversary. He still surprises you. Dave surprises me. Doesn't mean I don't know his mind and his heart, but I don't make assumptions about why he's here or what his intentions are on a grander scale. I really don't make those assumptions. When you let go of the assumptions, it gives people liberation. My mom used to say to me, and my mom used to really chide me for this, which was funny as a Christian. But this was part of my challenge with Christianity growing up, because I always thought Christianity was about forgiveness. But I would forgive people very easily, and my mom would say, I don't know how you do that. That person did this, that person said that about you, that person, and now you're just willing to be their friend again. You know, you should really think twice about that. And I remember thinking, like, that's not very Christian of you. Aren't I supposed to forgive people? And I used to say to her, like, but what, can't people change? I mean, can they not? So now she's always in this box, shitty friend. You know, does Amy always have to be a shitty friend? This was the name of the girl at the time. Or can she go in a new box called, maybe Amy's changing and Amy wants to be a better, higher vibrational version of herself? I mean, I didn't use those words. But, you know, my mom's lens was, I can't believe you would just forgive her, you know? And it's just like, I can't believe you wouldn't let her change. Like, tit for tat, right? So this is part of what priestessing is for me, in service of, you know, our graduation tonight, is give people the room to surprise you and to become something other than they are. Just because you had that experience. This to me is the essence, by the way, of unconditional love. You know, if someone says they love me, what I hope that means is that I can make a mistake once in a while and that won't end our relationship. I can say something insensitive and come back and apologize, and they won't be like, well, I'm never going to speak to you again. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I hope I love you means. If I love you means, no, the first time you say something shitty when you're mad, I'm out, that doesn't really look like love to me. That looks like something conditional, right? So, and I'm in search of unconditional love. Now, you could say, well, it's not appropriate to look for unconditional love outside of your family. I have plenty of people who feel that way. You know what? I don't agree with that. In fact, I think it's kind of my job as a priestess to hold something of a space of unconditional love for people. Just, you know, my 2 cents, right? Now, does that mean they could turn around and just hurt you again? Yes, it does. Amy could turn around and be a big old jerk tomorrow, and then my mom could say, see, I told you Amy was going to be a jerk to you again. And I could say, see, I told you I still wanted to forgive her anyway. Right? Now, again, it's okay not to be this way too. I'm not making a judgment around it, but I do think there's something in this calling that you've obviously responded to, which says, maybe it is good to forgive people again. Maybe it is good to not have a universal policy that if someone does this one thing, you're never gonna, you know, be their friend again, right? I've had so many, like, just an example, like I've had a lot of really like conservative friends of mine unfriend me during this year. And it really hurt my feelings, because I didn't unfriend anybody based on their politics this year. That was like my goal. I'm like, even if I have political differences with people, like, can't we still be friends? Like, really, we can't be friends? Like that just has really, my priestess heart has just been kind of wounded this year. I mean, I had a friend from high school who unfriended me because I didn't vote for the same candidate. Like, really? We've been friends since we were 15 years old. It just, and when his wife had cancer, I donated to her GoFundMe and stuff. I was just like, really? That hurt my heart. Like, that was one of those wounding moments this year where I was just like, wow, you know, that happened. But every time those things happen, it's an invitation to me to figure out, okay, well, you know, this is just a reminder, like, I wanna live my life in a slightly different way. And those experiences are just reminders, right? Like, I can't expect that everyone's gonna have the same perspective, but I can be reminded that I can, right? That I can rise to a different occasion. So let me ask you this. I'm going to turn the question back to you. What does it mean to you to become a priestess? It's an interesting question, right? You know, priestessing takes us back to alchemy. Mercury and Hermes, who really were Thoth, right? Thoth is an energy stream that manifested in multiple life forms. I'll teach you about this in January. So Thoth came from Atlantis, right? He was the foremost high priest of Atlantis and came to Atlantis. And when Atlantis fell, he went to multiple places. He went first to Egypt, right, where he was Thoth. He assumed his same identity. And then he morphed into Greece and Rome as Mercury and Hermes. Mercury in Rome and Hermes in Greece. And Mercury and Hermes were both gifted a wand by Apollo, the caduceus, right? And so that's where the idea of a magic wand even comes from, right? Using wands to direct energy and all the things we do as priestesses takes us back to alchemy. It's fascinating, actually, when you start to like connect the dots and trace it back. Woo! That's right. And that's, you know, Annette said, it's so beautiful. Annette said, many of us are differ here in Soul Shift, but we are a soul family, we stick together. Can we not? You know what I mean? And one of the big kudos I want to give to you guys this year is you embodied that. You embodied that. Through all the challenges, through all the struggles of this year, you allowed there to be difference and still be love. That's why you guys are such a source of hope for me, because you embody all of these things together. Yeah, it's very challenging. Karen Brown said, to level up my game, more aligning to my higher self and what I'm here to do. And using the time wisely. That's what I see in you too. Leading with love from Meredith, I love that. Not coming hot all the time from Neetu, I love that. A leader with equanimity. That's beautiful, Denise. Someone who's fair, right? Who's balanced in their perspective. Moderation in all things, right? Seeing both sides of an equation. And recognizing too, and I will tell you, I have one friend who's like, I don't know how you talk to anybody who's from the other political party. You know, I don't even know. And I said, you know what? You know how I do? Because I learn something every time I listen. There are polarities in this universe, but 90% of us are in the gray area in between. You learn something every time you listen. A priestess knows that. That's why a priestess, for the most part, usually when there's conflict, shuts up and listens. Because she's learning. She wants to hear this side, she wants to hear that side, she wants to hear more of this side, tell me more about that side, because she sits in the middle, but she's putting it all together. You learn every time you listen. Aurea said, how do you justify their political beliefs may mean that they view certain people as not worthy of humanity or justice? Yeah, but that's an assumption about the whole. The part does not equal the whole. Are there certain people in certain political parties who treat people with less than human senses of equity and justice? Yes, but not all of them do. Some people are in certain political groups and affiliations for financial benefits that they get, but ideologically they don't align with it, and sometimes they don't even vote in alignment with it. And again, my job as a priestess is not to make assumptions about the whole. I can't take one person and extrapolate from one person and assume that I know the rest. I mean, even scientifically, you can't do that. That would be an invalid study if we were doing scientific research together. If you said, I've got this one person who has this one trait, and now I'm going to assume that these 900 million people also have this one trait, anybody would look at you and go, but you can't do that. You can't extrapolate from a single unit sample, right? And yet we do it all the time. So I think we have to treat the part as the part as a priestess, right? Not treat the part as the whole, but each individual is unique. And so when we start to lump people together, well, all of you blah, blah, blah do blah, blah, blah. It's like, we get into the realm of logical fallacies. And for a priestess, because you want your thinking to be lucid and clear, you don't want to be in the realm of logical fallacies. You don't want to be extrapolating from the part in search of meaning for the whole. And it's challenging. But there is no one size that fits all. If there were, it would be a much easier world to lead, right? If one person like this was like all the other people like that, I mean, you guys would be easier to teach, right? You guys would be easier to teach. I could even look at our collective, like there have been people in the past who've interviewed me about Sage Goddess and said, so who are your customers? And most of our customers tend to be women between the ages of like 30 and 45 kind of thing. Like there is kind of a demographic that tends to, follow what we do. Is that who we are? No. If I take that and just try to create stuff for women aged 30 to 55, I'm going to leave a whole bunch of people out who don't identify as female, who aren't 30 to 45, who aren't like other women aged 30 to 45. Do you know what I mean? So like, you have to really look at things and recognize the differentiation, right? Yeah, sometimes I default, and Morgan corrected me, thank you for that, with the she, he, they. I try to be inclusive, Morgan, so thank you. Just be aware, I'm also aware, and I do my best. I do sometimes default into he and she because I've been teaching this for so long and really have consciously been incorporating they into my syntax over the last, 1 to 2 years. So, but thank you. I do still appreciate the you bringing it to my awareness. But it is not for lack of wanting to be inclusive. So thank you. Absolutely. That's right. But my broader point is you can't extrapolate from one to the all. You cannot see one person as the all. It's very, very important. 1000%. It's true. Okay, so let's move into, do you want to be initiated before we craft or craft before we're initiated? What do you think? I'm very open either way. I'm tempted to initiate you before we craft, if you want to know where I'm at about it. Because I kind of feel like I would like to, I would like to craft from that place, but I would like your perspective. Thank you, Morgan. Mwah. I appreciate it. It is a conscious intention on my part, a very conscious intention. Ooh, are we divided? Initiate, initiate, initiate. Okay, I'm going to initiate first, and we'll craft to celebrate. My spirit guides told me I have the wrong wand to initiate you. I will be right back. Talk about case in point teaching. I may not trip over my graduation robe. Yeah, now I have the right tool. Now I have the right tool. I will post this, by the way, in your classroom afterward, so that if one day you are initiating priestesses and you would like to use some of my language, you're more than welcome to do that. I'm sharing this with you. Isn't this the one, Cynthia? Isn't that crazy? My spirit guides are like, no, no, no. Wrong tool. What's interesting is this is from Louis. Yeah. Louis doesn't have stuff like this right now because of the pandemic, but this is a Louis situation from years ago. Do you remember? Some of you remember from Tucson. I think I did a live with you with Soul Shift when I was in Tucson and got that. Or I think it was still sabbatical when that happened. It's kind of fun being in the moment, like listening and tuning in. Okay. So would like for you to roll your shoulders back, call your energy into present time. I have all of your, this is the final edition of names, and you are all here. Everyone is here. And I want to reassure you, this is version 1. This entire what would you call it? I mean, it's a tapestry, is going to be reprinted, redesigned, redecorated right after Christmas. My team has half of tomorrow off and then all of Christmas Day off, so they'll be back next week. So they're going to completely reprint this, redecorate this, everything. We are going to check it again, and before we hang it in Sage Goddess headquarters, and it'll be hung next to the 2019 graduation list. But I just want to reassure you, okay? So there is no way, if you are graduating tonight, there is no way you're going to be left out. Like, there is just literally no way. So I think this is the final list here. You're all here. And I have 2 copies of that. One copy goes back here. The other goes here because we're doing our crafting and despacho tonight, which is our graduation ceremony. And I want all of your names here. So this is the final list as of about half an hour ago. My kids came and dropped off the final with Morgan and everybody, because Morgan was one of the ones that we noticed a little bit later in the afternoon. So it's final, as far as I know. And you will get to see the finished product. Are you kidding? Yes! This is your graduation. And then when we hang it, I'm gonna go live for the hanging of it. Oh my God, for goodness sake. This is very ceremonial for us here at Sage Goddess, and you have to know my whole team is excited. Where's the banner going? Are you gonna hang the 2019 banner next to the 2020 banner? Of course we are. When we moved, the 2019 banner was like one of the things that we like hand carried over to the new building. It's a big deal to us when you guys graduate. I'm pretty sure Alexis is on here. Alexis. It will be. Yeah, and if you didn't finish the whole year this year, don't feel bad. You'll finish the whole year next year, if you feel called. Or you were here for exactly as much as you were meant to be. So don't feel bad about that at all. Okay, am I on there? I should have my name at the top somewhere. I think I'm gonna have them add that. But Alexis needs to be on there as a graduate, no doubt about it. Well, don't feel bad to her. We'll get her on there. Of course, and Alexis does feel like she graduated. We've talked about this. You do, right? You feel like you graduated this year. Alexis worked as hard as you guys did. I will tell you that. Yeah, so don't worry. If you weren't on the list earlier today, we got you. And we're gonna run the list by you one more time, so not to worry. Have no fear, darling. So roll your shoulder back. I would love for you to have something, Morgan. If you want to have an amulet with you for initiation, I want to welcome you to go and get something to be with you. A ring would be lovely, wouldn't it? You know what I want to create for next year are signet rings. Do you know what signet rings are? They have a symbol on them, and so you can pour wax and then, use your ring as the seal. The royals used to do it. And the ancients used to do it. The pharaohs used to do it. I want to make signet rings. Wouldn't that be fun for initiation? Yeah, so go get a ring or an amulet or a crystal that you want to hold with you, something you want to charge with the energy. I just, for me, it's always my magician pendant, so I already have mine on. And I have my 2020 graduation pendant on. But if there's anything that you want to, go grab something, and we'll include you. Yeah, your hexagon soul shift pendant, that's what I'm using. I'm using my graduation hexagon and my magician pendant. But anything you want to grab to charge and bless during this initiation would be really beautiful. No way. Teresa said my engagement ring is a signet ring. That's brilliant. So smart. Oh my goodness. It was their signature. They would, I hereby seal this letter, this document. Wouldn't it be amazing? Okay, back to the task at hand, me and my ADHD. I want to welcome in our guides and guardians tonight to be with us. The space is so clear and so clean too. I'm going to put down just a little bit more copal on my cooktop. Just tapping off some of the ash so I can get a cleaner burn. I'm glad you guys like this incense as much as I do. It's been one of my favorites of the year. We're cooking resin. Okay. Ooh. So we want to invite in the guides and the guardians of the 7 sacred directions to be with us this evening, to bless our initiation ceremony, and welcome again to all of you who are here. Ooh. To the guides and the guardians of the East, thank you for being present to our ceremony this evening. Thank you for blessing us with clarity and with spaciousness in 2020, helping us to see things from a new perspective. We give thanks and welcome you into the ceremony space. And to the guides and the guardians of the South, thank you for inspiring us, bringing us courage this year and strength. We see you as we celebrate our transformation tonight in your presence. We welcome you into the ceremony space. And to the guides and the guardians of the West, thank you for opening this channel of healing this year, for emotional release and transformation of our feelings, helping us to show up differently to old challenges and situations so we can see our growth. We welcome you into the ceremony space. And to the guides and the guardians of the North, thank you for bringing your strength. Thank you for bringing your patience with us. Thank you for helping to hold our hand. And sometimes to hold us by the ankles, keeping us tethered to our purpose, for always helping us to be aware of the blessings in our life. We give thanks and welcome the guides and guardians of the North into our ceremony tonight. And to the guides and the guardians of the upper worlds, the realms of ascension and wisdom, the angelic gateways, and the portal to all that is, the expansiveness of our multiverse, all of the star gateways opening tonight. We welcome in the guides and the guardians of the upper realms who bring wisdom, who bring peace and connection. We welcome you into the ceremony space. And through our heart portals tonight, through the heart chakra, we welcome in the guides and the guardians of the middle realm, connects us across space and time to each other, to our community. Thank you for helping us find each other this year. Thank you for bringing us all together into this here and now moment across space and time, wherever you are. Thank you for helping us to remember to be present to this life, to the wisdom and the lessons of it. Thank you for teaching us to have patience with each other, to love each other unconditionally, or more unconditionally than we have before. We welcome in the guides and the guardians of the middle world to our ceremony tonight. And to the guides and the guardians of the lower world, anchoring us into the realm of the ancestors, the bone and mineral kingdoms, the ley lines and vortex points, chakra points across the planet. Feel that energy move now from beneath your feet across this globe, across all continents and bodies of water, across both hemispheres and space and time boundaries. We thank the guides and the guardians of the lower realms for coming to our ceremony this evening, for inviting in the wisdom of the ancestors, the stability of the earth beneath our feet, remembering that we're always anchored and held. And we welcome them into this space as well. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Coming closer to you. And I'm going to be focusing here now because this is a really important moment. And if you want to continue to chat in the feed, it's totally okay. But I just, for these next few minutes, I'm going to focus here. But Alexis is with me, and so if you have specific questions about anything, she can be responding to you. I would, though, like to invite you. This won't be a long part of the process, but I would like to invite you. It's 5:20. I would say probably for the next 10 or 15 minutes, maybe just not to comment for just a few minutes, to be fully present. This is your initiation. And you can choose to experience it however you would like. You don't have to be fully present to what I'm sharing. You can continue to dialogue with each other. But this happens once a year. And so I think it is an important moment to bring your full presence and awareness to. But however you choose to do that is fine with me. So, but I wanted to make sure you knew that this was the moment. This is the activation. And so if you're ready, I'm going to begin. And Spirit, guide my words as I help these incredible spirits move across this threshold tonight with so much gratitude for who they are, what they embody, what they know, how they love, and all that they represent for us as a collective as well. And on we go. Today, you are initiated as a priestess in the tradition of my ancestors and elders who have come before me. Initiation is a beginning. It is a welcoming of you into an already open and active field of conscious awareness. In this space, you are asked to rise to the occasion of leadership and to commit yourself to service. This is service to yourself, to you, service to others, service to our collective, which includes you and me, and service to your Creator. This is not a selfish path you have chosen. Today you pledge to allow yourself also to be led. today you pledge to allow yourself to be led, where your gifts and your words can be most healing and openly received. And may you always trust the wisdom as it flows to you. Let us now call upon the guides and the guardians of the 7 sacred directions to witness us, to witness you, as you enter into the circle of initiation today. To the guides and the guardians of the East, and I love you too. You enter the initiate circle here by powers of air. As spirits, we welcome each direction tonight to guide us toward their anchoring place. And so I will call upon each one of the elemental guides now to welcome you to their direction and to teach you how to hear their voice. Air spirits, and if you want, I'm going to leave space. Would you like to repeat these after me? I think it might be very powerful for you to do that. Would you like to? If you don't want to, you can just kind of quietly say it to yourself. But I'm going to do this like vows, where you can then repeat after me if you would like. Air spirits, guide me to clarity, to conscious presence, and spaciousness of mind. Help me not to judge, but rather to perceive and discern. Listening always for your voice. So shall it be. To the guides and guardians of the South, we enter the initiate circle here by powers of fire. Fire spirits, guide me to play, to transform, to be strong, and to be resilient. Help me to stand firm inside of my power, but to use it wisely, listening always for your voice. So shall it be. To the guides and guardians of the West, we enter the initiate circle here by powers of water. Water spirits, guide me to flow and to ease, to prosperity and to wealth, to emotional healing and renewal. Help me to honor my emotions, but not get lost inside them. Or become unaware of their influence. Listening always for your voice. So shall it be. To the guides and guardians of the North, we enter the initiate circle here by powers of Earth. Earth spirits, guide me toward grounding and stability. Anchoring me in the present moment. While I reach for the stars and the moon. Help me to stay firmly rooted in the past while I explore the present and dream into the future. Listening always for your voice. So shall it be. To the guides and the guardians of the upper realms, we enter the initiate circle here by powers of spirit. Upper realm spirits, guide me. Toward the heavens and all forms of creation. Showing me the pathways to wisdom. Help me to access your knowing and your peace while I find my way here on earth toward my own inner divinity. Listening always for your voice. So shall it be. Middle realm spirits, guide me toward love. Love for the collective. Love for myself. And love for all my relations. Help me to have an open heart, balanced by an open mind and an open spirit. Listening always for your voice. So shall it be. To the guides and the guardians of the lower realm, we enter the initiate circle by powers of our ancestors. Lower realm spirits, guide me. Toward wisdom from below. Honoring the voices of those who have gone before me. With courage and with grace. Help me to hear those voices. And to heed their guidance. Listening always also for your voice. So shall it be. Nice deep breath there. Woo. Tonight, by powers of the 7 fields of energy, I initiate you as a priestess. And may you walk this path in beauty and in gratitude, always. Amen. Aho. And so it is. Amen. Aho. And so it is. You may throw your cap. Lori said, I do. I do too. Yay! You may kiss the bride. Mwah. You guys always come in with the humor right when I need it. Woo. Yay! Yay, I'm so proud of you. You did it! You did it! You did it. And you did a great job. You didn't just do it. You did it to it. You did it to it. Cheers. Oh my goodness, cheers. And thank you to all of our spirit guides. I felt like this room was full of people. Did you feel it? I felt like we had an audience of thousands. I really did. I really did. I'm so proud of you. I'm sorry for breaking down at Earth. When I wrote that, I broke down at the same place. I had to take a break. I don't know what it is about Earth energy. I think it's the reason that my husband, is all Earth and my son is all Earth, and it's just, I'm so absent it that it's the emotion, whatever you have the least of is your teacher, right? That's your learning edge, and I have so little Earth. So I'm sorry, I didn't want to break down at all during it, but I was just like, oh shit, I gotta keep going. It is my learning edge. Well, I didn't want to disrupt your experience, but I was just like, oh my God, it's going to be ugly crying here, and I don't know where this is going. It's my learning. Did you too? Okay, Dr. Chris broke down too. I don't feel so bad. I think the spirits are happy for us. Sharon Westline, I think you couldn't be more correct about that. I think they're all celebrating tonight. And I will tell you this again. I am so proud of you, and I just love you. You know, someone posted in our Facebook group today, you know, I'm not going to say who it was here because I don't know. I mean, she posted in the group, but and she was saying how, you know, she needs friends, right? It's like, it's a lonely world right now. It's hard to make friends and stuff. And it's like, the amount of love that's available in this group is overwhelming. I mean, if you really do feel like you want those heart-based connections, it's available here. And I think that's what the, you know, Guardians of the Middle Realm are all about, is about facilitating and strengthening those heart-based connections between us. But I just adore you. I'm so proud of you. Oh, I love it. And isn't that interesting? You're noticing you had different reactions to the different elements too. I love that so much. Okay, so I'm gonna have us craft in the circle, and then I'm gonna close the circle for the despacho. Is that okay? So this is your craft. We gave you a lot of, you know, bits and bobs. If you got your kit, we gave you like chipstones and crystals and all kinds of amazing things. So, and you're welcome to, I brought some glue in case I was gonna like really start heating it up. But I will tell you, I have decided not to decorate my card tonight. So if you would like to decorate your card, what I will say is I can give you some guidance for that. I want to use my Angela Fos cards for readings, for myself, for sometimes for soulship, for us. And so I've decided I don't really want to attach crystals to mine. Yeah, so if you didn't get anything to craft, you can use your blank card. That's what this is for, okay? So there was no closing symbol card. We didn't do that either. So at some point we'll probably do that, but right now you don't have a closing symbol card. You have a total of, actually, do you have closing? Oh, you do have closing. You don't have opening, I don't think. Let me see. Oh, you do have opening. Are you missing any of them then? Maybe you're not missing any of them. Alexis will tell us. I have all of them here, so maybe you're not missing any of them. I thought for some reason you might have been missing the opening or closing, but it looks like you're not missing those. Oh my God. When we get into SGHQ, I want to prepare you for the kind of retreat we're gonna have. Cause it's gonna be crazy. We have now waited so long that I don't even know how to describe what's gonna happen to you. I think I'm just gonna put down a bunch of mattresses and see where it goes. You have them all? Okay. So, okay, if you have them all, you're in a good shape. And if you're missing any of them, it's okay. Alexis, can you help me think about the best way? Because we probably don't want to have everybody ready to Kevin. So if they're missing some of the cards, there are 2 that were being sent separately because they were not part of the original batch. So if you didn't get your separate cards yet, then you might be missing the 2. So I would say hang tight on that. We did our perfuming last week. Do you remember with our journey? So if you missed session 3, you probably missed the perfuming. It's my favorite perfume that we've made of the whole year. I've already used it like 5 times in my bath. So go back to session 3. Mattresses and water, why not? I mean, it could just be a 3-day cuddle session, and I don't think anybody would complain, although I'll bring some other cool things for us to do. Okay, so because I'm going to be using my cards, I'm not going to bejewel them, but you are welcome to do that. And one of the things you could do, I just want to invite you to give you some ideas for other things you could do beyond what we're doing tonight. You could glue the lines, and you could attach your chipstones. Is one option. You know what I mean? And you could choose one card. You take it out of your deck, and you could choose that card to decorate and frame. as like your personal card. You know what I mean? If you really feel called to one of the symbols or another, like let's say awareness is your symbol, you could choose to take this out of the deck, decorate it, frame it, and have it just be a piece of art for you. Is one thing you could do. Yeah. Oh, that was our November perfume. Did we not make our December perfume? I might have gotten mixed up because of the way our sessions were this month. Did we miss our December perfume? We may have. If we did, then Alexis will tell me, and we'll have to do like a little catch-up bonus something. You know, if we missed it, what we'll do is we'll do it before Elder Council. How does that work for you guys? Yeah, Callie's saying it wasn't. That was November. Yeah, I think you're right. You know what? Let's, hey, Alexis, can we do it before Elder Council? Which would be next week. That would be is it next Wednesday, right? Is Elder Council? Because Tuesday's the full moon, so Wednesday's Elder Council, is that right? Does that work for you guys? I want to do the perfuming too. I just got I think I got disoriented because we did the November perfume and we only perfume once a month. So yeah, that's my mistake. What do you think? Are you into it? Elder Council? I think it'd be really cool actually to make the perfume together right before Elder Council and then use it for Elder Council. I'm down for that. Okay, sounds like you guys are into it too. Let's see. So you got, in your set, you got moonstone, you got quartz, and you got tourmaline. I think this is rose quartz, actually. There's a little bit, there's some weird little dudes in there who, I think there's like a little amethyst and a couple of other things. So you got some rose quartz, you got some tourmaline in your little bits and bobs. And then you got your moonstone, and there's peach and black and natural moonstone. Yeah, so that way, so we'll perfume if you have your tools, and if you don't have your tools, you could maybe bring some oils that you feel intuitively called to blend. Wouldn't that be kind of fun? So if you didn't get your December kit, but you're coming to Elder Council, use your intuition and see what essential oils you feel called to gather. I think that would be a really good intuitive exercise for you too as a priestess to learn, you know, how to trust your intuition when you're making blends. Because as a priestess, you're going to be called upon to priestess at different events and things, and you're going to have to bring anointing blends and come up with that stuff and breathe life into that. And so I think it's good training for you actually to maybe design something custom on your own. Yay! That's a great way to close 2020. I agree with you, Karen. All right, we'll do it. Something additional to look forward to. Okay. Now, what I do want to do with you tonight is I want you to, now some of you shared, you've already come up with your symbols. And so tonight is about transferring your symbol to the card, the blank card. And the reason I thought this was a great craft for us this month is, first of all, now you have, you know, an oracle deck of all of our symbols that you can pull a symbol for the day. It's gonna reinforce your learning of the symbols too and your integration of the symbols. And like I said at the beginning of tonight, the symbols are so important to us. Yeah, some of the December pillars were sent separately. Yes, Tina Torres, with the 2 remaining cards from your deck. So USPS may be kind of bogged down, but yeah, that's what we were just talking about. Crystal Scarlet is doing perfuming at Elder Council. So I'm glad you're into it. And so Che, hopefully that helps you too. Yeah. Oh, I think so too. Well, Tracy's going to bring Femme Elder Council, which I think is good. I haven't gotten my guidance from my spirit guides about Elder Council yet. At all. But it usually comes the week of. So I'm not worried about it. But I think it's really interesting. I've never done Elder Council this close to the end of a year, after coming through a portal like this with the grand conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn and stuff, and the age of Aquarius and all these things. Like, I almost feel like I don't know what to expect. So it'll be a really interesting process, I think. Okay. Yay. The cards, I don't know. I don't know if they're planning to offer them separately or not. I'd have to check and see with Claire and Alexis, but I'll ask for you. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to transfer your symbol to this card. And you should have gotten something in your kit to do that with, a little glitter pen or a glue pen. I'm going to be using, for mine, I'm going to be using a metallic permanent marker, so whatever you would like to receive. Oh, I love that, Stephen. It's so your oil. Do you wear it all the time, or is it just sometimes? I introduced Stephen to labdanum. Stephen had some kind of crazy Ramen past life that I can kind of feel into, so I sent him some labdanum. Aw, thank you. I think so too, Angelia. I'm glad you're excited about it. Okay, so I want you to, if you're coming up with your symbol now, which I'm kind of feeling into mine, I think that's perfect. If you already came up with your symbol, I want you to transfer it to your card, your blank card. What I know for sure from my guides from earlier today is that my symbol for our final Angelifaux symbol, because I think I shared this earlier, but I hear ayahuasca's voice. And I heard her voice this week saying that I would be bringing one more Angelifaux symbol in. And this isn't a symbol for us to work with. I think it might just be a symbol for me to work with. I'm not sure. I don't feel like I need to print an extra card with it or anything like that. But I do feel like maybe I'm supposed to show it to you. That maybe it's supposed to, it's like beyond the 13, kind of. It feels like a symbol to bring us into 2021. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start the process. And I want you to take your card too, and I want you to begin to draw. And I'll show you when I'm done. So I was told to start with a figure 8. Oh, I love that. I love that you use it every day. That's very cool. Isis and Osiris gave you your symbol. I love that. Yeah, they gave me a triangle. So I feel like a triangle has to figure into all of this a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I will for sure. I will put the tonight's invocation into your Facebook group for you. Or I'll send it to Alexis and she can put it into your classroom for you. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah. Yeah, this is supposed to be a personal symbol for you. Kind of inspired by. That's why we left one of the cards blank for you. So some of you were kind of playing around with it in the Facebook group earlier this month. This was an invitation to you coming from your worksheets this month. So now I'm going to work on the second part of the symbol. And just take your time, kind of feel into it. And if you don't have your cards, just draw this on an open piece of paper. You've just been initiated. I opened a circle. You're in ceremony now, right? We've been burning some copal and kind of preparing the space. So what's coming through to you on this night of your initiation, in this portal of evolution, right? On the edge of all of this Christ conscious awareness that's across our planet, after the closing of the Hanukkah portal, right ahead of the new year, with this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, like you're in a vortex place right now. If you quiet your mind a little bit and put a pen down on the paper, what comes to you tonight? What is a symbol that's going to represent what's coming for you in 2021? And what does that look like? Whew. Step 2. It's coming together. Okay, so when I have our graphic design team kind of make this, you know, pretty and perfect, I think it will have two triangles, one point up and one point down. It does look like an angel, doesn't it? Like with her hands in prayer pose. And then I'm seeing one more. You ready for the last step? It's the alchemy symbol. If you look at it next to where we've been, you know what this becomes? It becomes the embodiment. I think this is the embodiment. I mean, I'm doing this in the moment with you, right? I didn't pre-plan this at all. So it's not as clean and tidy as if I had like done the whole thing and I just went, whoops, see what I did? But I think it's the embodiment of it, of the work. So what's coming to me is that this symbol is called the Heart of Alchemy. And that felt important enough to write down. This is the Heart of Alchemy. That ultimately the potency of the alchemy comes down to the potency of the alchemist. Maybe the faith of the alchemist. And isn't that true, right? Like, do you believe it? Comes down to your faith, your potency. Oh, that's interesting. Teresa said you flipped the torus of the first symbol. Isn't that interesting? If you look at the opening symbol, it's kind of neat to have it in cards, isn't it? It's in there. You guys, the symbol's in there. Do you see it? I didn't look at it when I was drawing. Do you see that symbol's in there completely? It just became a body. Wow. Wow. And thank you for saying that, Teresa Jolly. That's alchemy that you saw it. Wow. They're all the same. Isn't it crazy, Sandra? Crazy awesome. Ah, that was fun. That was exciting. Wow. Beyond my expectations. So, I want you to take your final card. And by the way, you can draw your own symbol. You can draw this symbol, whatever resonates with you. I think that probably means you're completing the cycle, Debbie. She said hers is very close to the closure symbol. I think it means you're there. Isn't that cool? Me too, Becky Bowman, I'm glad. And if you aren't drawing it yet, that's okay. You can draw it later. You know, it may not come to you in this moment. It may come to you tomorrow. It may come to you after dream time tonight, or it may come to you after Elder Council. You may want to hold this card until after Elder Council. There's another option for you, right? Whew. You can't make this up. That's real good. I mean, that's part of your priestessing, right? Oh, I like it. Hillary got the diamond ray. I want to see that. She says she's going to share it in the Facebook group. No, I totally see it, Sharon. I think it's absolutely... That's why my spirit guides were like, no, no, no. You need to go. There's all kinds of tattoos in my future. I found a tattoo artist that some people in our community had used, and energetically it wasn't right. I like got in touch with the woman, and it was really like kind of cold communication and stuff, and I was just like, everybody else has worked with her, but I was really turned off. So I'm still in search of a tattoo artist. It has to be right, like because that person's work is in you. You know what I mean? I was just like, wow, you're not as nice as I thought you were gonna be. Well, so we'll see about some flash tattoos and things like that. Okay, are you ready? To release our circle. Oh, but you know what, Lauren? You have to get past that. What if you're an amazing artist? I say the same thing about singing, but my spirit guides keep saying they want me to take voice lessons in 2021. It's like, what? And not to sing, but to tone. Because I'm so hesitant to use my voice, because I've always just thought my voice was awful. So anyway, maybe you start to draw, I start to sing, who knows what's going to happen. You love your artist, so you need to refer me. Kat Von D is here, but she's not really accessible. I mean, you know, to normal folks. So I think she's got a crazy long wait list. Despacho is going to be after the circle, Desiree. That's the next part of tonight. It's true. All right, you guys, you ready? I'll explain Despacho to you in just a second. You're going to be so excited about it. So from our initiation, I want to release with so much gratitude the guides and the guardians of the 7 directions. I may take you up on that, Hillary, and teach me how to sing. Yeah, hold on. Don't worry about Despacho. Let's let the spirit guides go. And then we can talk Despacho. Be here now. Okay, you ready, guys? So let's release in the opposite order, right? Always. So let's release the guides and the guardians of the lower realms with gratitude, releasing the bone and mineral kingdom, releasing the ley lines and vortex points, unplugging ourselves from the very core of the planet with so much gratitude for the stability and the grounding that all of that offered us tonight, tethering us into the core and the center of the earth. We're releasing the guides and the guardians of the lower world with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the middle world, releasing ourselves from all tethers and cords to this here and now moment, to our communities, to the expansive energies that are around us. We release those energies with gratitude, and we release the guides and the guardians with gratitude as well from the middle world. And from the upper realms, the upper world, angelic and Akashic gateways, access to all dimensions, all planes of existence. We release the guides and the guardians of the upper realms with gratitude. And releasing the guides and the guardians of the north, giving thanks for their stability, presence, protection, peace. And releasing that cord from the north this evening with so much gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the west, we thank you for helping us to run these emotions, to cleanse and purify them, to feel into the deeper connections tonight, We give thanks and release the guides and the guardians of the West with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the South, thank you for meeting fire with fire, helping us to transform, grow, and also to witness our transformation tonight in our initiation. We thank you for your presence and release you with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the East, thank you for this new day, this new path, these new titles, these new certificates, these new levels of conscious awareness. We're so grateful for tonight's initiation and all that it opens us to. We release the guides and the guardians of the East and give thanks for this new beginning with so much gratitude. And with that, it was special. I know, Sharon, I feel the same way. Sometimes these circles get kind of, they're such a place of comfort, you know, and knowledge. And it's almost like you know that you're known in these spaces. So it's, when we release them, it's like, oof. But we can always call them back. That's what's nice about the guides and the guardians. They're always there. And the more we move into alchemy, the more you're going to learn that the directions are very real. I believe those guides and guardians are actively, energetically available to us all the time. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed that this year. I don't want to do it. Congratulations. Soul Shift 2020 is complete. Throw your cap in the air. I know. I'm like, no, yes, no, yes, no. Oh my goodness. You did it. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Cheers, cheers, cheers. It is official, 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 official. And I love you. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. Okay. The last part of our ceremony, and you don't have to stay for this part if you're busy. I know it's 2 days before Christmas and holy shit. You know, it's crazy. And but the last part of our ceremony tonight, sitting on my tomato. The last part of our ceremony tonight is what we call a despacho. Despacho is an offering. And I do a despacho a lot of times when I close a class. When I taught university, well, I will. Tina Briggs was like, will you please announce all of our new titles? I kind of did it a little bit earlier, but let me say it again. I now acknowledge you as an initiated priestess. That is what tonight means. You are an initiated priestess. You will get a certificate in January that says initiated priestess with my signature. And I acknowledge you as such. And so everything that we've learned, everything that we've done, this now becomes part of you. That's the gift and the blessing of what I get to do, is kind of put all this in your basket and say, what will you do with it now? Now that it's in your hands, where will you go with it? I acknowledge you. and honor you and bow to you truly. Truly, truly. Okay, it is exciting. Are you kidding me? This is so exciting. Okay, I'm gonna get up on my knees for a second. A despacho is an offering, and it's done largely in indigenous traditions. One of my first teachers taught me despacho and gifted me despacho. Despacho is a tradition that's handed down from teachers to students. So tonight I'm handing down despacho to you. Thanks, you guys. I just love you so much. A high priestess is one who then initiates other priestesses. So I don't often refer to myself as a high priestess, but technically I am. And so if you were to begin to initiate other priestesses, then you would be considered a high priestess. And some people feel like you have to go through additional training for high priestesshood. It's one of those titles that doesn't really have a formal like certification process or, you know, a formal kind of documentation process. So, but I have been initiated by multiple high priestesses in different kinds of settings, and so I think it's good for you to consider if you want to begin initiating priestesses, how you might want to go through additional formal high priestess education. And that may be something down the road that I want to do. There are other people who will do it for you too, just to give you more of the teaching edge. Right now, what you've been initiated into is really a practice of priestessing. And then from here, as you start to grow into your leadership capabilities, then you may ultimately go onto a path of initiating other priestesses too. Yeah. I don't know. It's a great question, Morgan. And I don't know, it's not every indigenous tradition. So it's more of the Western indigenous traditions as opposed to, and by Western I really mean sort of the Americas more than anything else. So what I am going to show you tonight is kind of a traditional practice, but I do my little riff on it, and I have to say some of the traditional things that I would have gathered, like I couldn't get bay leaves, I couldn't get coca leaves, so I'm kind of working with what I have just because we're in quarantine, like we were out of bay leaves at Sage Goddess. And we're having trouble getting groceries delivered here because COVID is so bad. So I will tell you what I'm using tonight in my despacho are sage leaves instead of coca leaves or instead of bay leaves because it's just what I have access to. But what I was always taught too is if you're somewhere and you don't have exactly what you need, you can ask the spirits to bless it and honor it as the offering, right? So why is your graduation a necklace a honeycomb? Because I think of us as bees in a hive. And honeycomb is what bees make. It's kind of cute, right? I'm going to see if I can turn my camera down just a little bit so I can be more, so I can show you more of what I'm doing. Just a second. Sorry, no, this is weird. Some more of what I'm doing here. A little bit. I'm going to really scooch. There we go. You can kind of see what I'm doing here now. That's nice. Okay. So, you do not need to make this along with me. I am making this for us. Do I have my stones? Here they are. I started gathering stones for our despacho about 6 months ago, including this big morganite crystal, and this is a carved fluorite from one of my beloved friends. I've got a hessonite for your wealth and prosperity. I have sapphire for your wisdom. I have aquamarine for your emotional healing, and I have bloodstone for your physical healing. So what I'm doing tonight is creating this despacho. You're going to watch me do it. We're going to do it together. And then I'm going to bury this next to the Crystal Masters honey jar in the around the area of SG headquarters in Carson. So I'm trying to keep an eye on your comments too to make sure if you have any questions, I let you know. So despacho simply means an offering, and in Central and South America in particular, when you're doing a healing, or when you're asking for something, or when you're celebrating something, or when you're concluding something, you create a despacho, And you can either bury it or burn it. Those are the two traditional ways. When I was a teacher, we did a really big gazpacho right at the end of my last class at university. And what we did is we made a massive gazpacho together, and then we took it and we burned it in a bonfire. And it was one of the coolest experiences I had. All of my students, so we all caravanned out to the beach. There was only one beach where we could do a bonfire kind of legally. And so we did the gazpacho in our classroom together, and at the time I had everybody bring something for the gazpacho to put in there. It wouldn't have really been feasible for our community, so I have gathered everything for our gazpacho here, and so that's what I'm going to be putting together tonight. And in a traditional gazpacho, you put something for earth, something for fire, something for air, and something for water. So I have all of the elements represented here. But one of the things it's important to do in a gazpacho, sorry, I want to get up off my gown for just a second. Let me rearrange my gown for a second so I can, actually I'm going to take it off. Just a second, I'll be right back. It'll be a little bit easier for me. Okay, this is much better. Now I can get down and dirty. Like, I can't do all this in a gown. Yeah, it can be about releasing photos or mementos of a previous relationship. It can be a releasing exercise. I've always been taught, though, it's kind of a commemoration exercise. It marks beginnings and endings. So you can definitely use it if you're releasing something, a relationship, but a lot of times it's an expression of gratitude, because remember, it's an offering. So it's not necessarily something for you to receive, it's more for something for you to say thank you for. A thank you for an experience, or a thank you for, it could be a thank you for the relationship. Don't worry, I'm not going to get completely naked, but I'm like, I cannot, that little gown is really restrictive. So I had to kind of take it down one layer for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a scribe for us now on our gazpacho paper. Everything in a gazpacho has to be something that you can bury and give back to the earth and not feel bad about. So this is biodegradable paper, like good quality paper. And everything else that I'm giving back, I'm putting candy in there, which is going to sweeten the energy. I'm going to be burning some wax. I have naturally shed feathers. I have Florida water for the element of water. So what I want to do, ho 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 everybody, what I want to do is I'm going to start in the middle by saying Soul Shift, Graduation, 2020. A little heart, right in the middle. No way, that is so cool. We all kind of drew the same things. Isn't that funny? I think there is something to like the astrological significance or the similarities a lot of us share. Okay, I want to add your words. So if you have, and I want it to be kind of stream of consciousness. So if you have a word or an idea or something that comes to mind for you that it's an expression of gratitude for the year that is behind us now, what words can I add? Ready, go. And I'm just going to scribe for about the next 5 minutes. So Becky gave me a heart. Keep coming. What you got? I can add a word, I can add a symbol, I can add, what am I adding for you? So for Sarah, it's lessons. It's fun, right? Now, what did you learn this year? What are we saying thank you for? I saw that 2020 can bleep. You guys are so good. Okay. We're in the home stretch here. Woo! Aliens. Oh, I love it. This is rad. I want you to see what we did. Every time I've done this, my students have loved it. Because everybody gets in there and they've got their pens and they're writing and the creativity's flowing and they're feeling gratitude and they're like, yes, I just want to do this forever. It's so fun. I write a lot, so I'm kind of used to it. I've got strong writing muscles. Okay, now let's go back to beginning. Scoot my boob back so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so the first thing is first, we have to put our leaves down. And so I'm going to use, like I said, I'm going to use 3 sage leaves because I don't have coca leaves, I don't have bay leaves, I don't have anything that I would normally use. So you put 3 leaves in the middle, which represent the 3 realms. Sorry, can you see? I'm really trying to make sure this is clear for you. You see the 3 leaves right here? Okay, so there's 3 leaves. Lower realm, middle realm, upper realm, past, present, future, right? So we're kind of invoking the 3 levels of consciousness when we put the 3 leaves down. Then you want to add in your elements, and we're going to go kind of around the wheel. So you want to add something to represent air, and I have some feathers that are here. So I'm going to add 3 feathers, and I'm going to orient myself east. So in the room, that's west, that's east. But you want to put them, because I need to be able to fold this. Let me see, I should be able to fold that. I think what I'm going to have to do is turn the quills. Let me do that. Or I wonder if I can sort of orient them this way. That way I can fold it. That should be fine. Okay, I don't really want to trim anything. Okay, so we're all inviting the element of East into our despacho, and we are giving thanks for everything that is Eastern in its origin. So clarity, consciousness, breath, freedom. What else is Eastern elemental for you? Spaciousness of your thoughts, right, would be Eastern energy too. Clarity, giving thanks for new beginnings, the beginning of a new year, right? Everything that is, I love it, adaptability, reinventing energies, right? Divination feels good to have here too, Cindy. I like that. Acceptance, right? Any energies that flow like air. So acceptance, clarity, appreciation, gratitude, a lot of that feels very Eastern to me. Freedom for sure, liberation would be good too. Inclusion, I like that. Yeah, those are all very, very good to include in the East. Yeah, it's probably a good idea to have some of the symbols with us. Let's do that. I'm actually going to pull some cards. Let's do that. So I'm going to just lay my cards down and see. I'm going to pull one to represent the East. I'm just running my hand over them. I pulled the health card. So let's draw I'm going to draw the health symbol here in the East. I think that's great. What a great suggestion. Thank you for that. Leadership for sure, movement, friendship in the East too, and teaching, because teaching opens new doorways. Friendship opens you to new relationships. I like that a lot. Okay, now in the South, we have to burn something. So I have a bunch of candles here. I think I'm going to burn, let's see. I'm going to burn this one. This is a good candle for healing energies from source. So I think that's the wax I'm going to drip in the South. So here's our fire. So we welcome in the fire elementals through that fire gateway in the South. And you don't need a lot, it's just the gesture of it more than anything. So just dripping a little bit of our wax onto our despacho. There we go. 3 good drips will do it. And then let me pull a card for the South and see what comes through. So something to represent the fire element. Integration. That's kind of cool, actually. Integration in the South. So that is our Southern symbol. And then in the West, we need to bring in the water element. Oh, that's good. I need a little bit of that, I think. So So let's just do 3 drops of this Florida water to represent the Western guides. This is for love, healing, renewal, prosperity, ease, flow. It's a little more than 3, but who's counting? We're not perfect. I cried enough tears to wet this whole western side of the mat tonight, right? So, just calling in that western energy, giving thanks for energies of flow, of abundance, of renewal, of clearing, of compassion, nurturing, kindness, tenderness in the West, yeah. It smells good too. Finding the way, I like that. I like the idea of finding the way too in the West. Yeah. Yeah, we'll let me and Alexis talk about decks and separate things like that, and we'll let you know for sure. Yeah. I think we have Florida water on the website, but I want to make some new for 2021, so I'll work on that in a little while. It is a baptism, right? And hope too in the West. I like that too. Now in the North is where we bring in our crystals. So I have 6 crystals for us, as above, so below, right? 6 is always the number of elemental balance. I'm trying to see your comments too. That's an interesting idea. I just finished making a perfume called Gold for our alchemical work, and it's real good. But I have to get the bottles here. The bottles are not here yet, so I don't have that for you yet, but it's coming. It's the first time I've combined oud with champaka, and there's some labdanum in it too. It's kind of like all my favorite things in one bottle. Okay, so in the North we use I use gemstones. You can use anything in the North that represents the North. You can use dirt or soil, and a lot of my teachers have used soil from the earth or like sacred places. But I like to use crystals because they're solid, foundational earth energy tools. So the crystals that I'm working with for you guys for tonight, bloodstone, so that you feel no pain in 2021. Yeah. Oh, I didn't do a symbol for West. You're right. Thank you for that. Let me shuffle them one more time. Okay. All right, spirit guides. Angelopho's symbol for the West. Feel it right there. Yeah, right here. Transformation. That is a great one for the West. Transformation for the West. Thank you for that. Okay, and now the North. So I have already charged and blessed these crystals. I was holding them all the way through the initiation. So these are for sure your crystals. And like I said, some of them, the fluorite and the morganite, I gathered up in, I think, March or April for tonight, knowing we were going to do this. So I've been holding onto these crystals for quite a while. So I have bloodstone for absolute pain relief, so that you feel no pain in 2021. I have the prettiest carved fluorite cabochon for you, for clarity. It has a lotus on it, so I thought that was also like, it's for clarity, it's for direction, but it's also the lotus is for ascension, right? For spiritual evolution, so that's there for you. And then I chose a sapphire for you. It chose really good quality stones too. It's kind of a shame to bury them, but the better the quality of the stones, the higher the vibration, and this needs to have a strong vibration because this is going to hold us through the next year. So this is sapphire for our wisdom. Isn't it pretty? And here's the fluorite. Do you see the lotus in it? Isn't it pretty? And here's the bloodstone. Super pretty. And then I chose hessonite garnet. I felt called to that instead of citrine for your prosperity and your abundance. This is called the Gomed in India. And so the legend is if you have at least 2 carats of hessonite garnet, which this is about 5 or 6 carats, that is the most powerful prosperity stone you can work with. So that's what I'm putting in there. And then, so may you know wealth and prosperity, and may resources find you easily. And then this is a flipping awesome morganite. Because one of my biggest wishes for you for 2021 is that you know sovereignty and love. That you feel completely powerful in all of your relationships, that you feel appreciated, valued, understood, welcomed, all of those things. And there's nothing better for that than morganite. So I have a really beautiful terminated morganite crystal that's going in. And then aquamarine. Aquamarine is for your emotional healing and renewal, so that all of your feelings are purified in 2021. So you don't bring anything from 2020 in that isn't going to be, did I say gonad? No, I said Gomed. You guys are so funny. It is your crystal, Morgan. And then the aquamarine will bring you emotional healing, renewal, and balance of all of your emotions. So I thought that was a good one. Isn't it pretty? Okay. So that represents Earth. And let me pull an Angela Foss card for Earth energies for this one. Let's see which one it is. You guys, look at what card I pulled. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? I pulled the closing card. Now I'm gonna cry. I did 6 crystals. Blue beryl is morganite, and pink beryl, or no, blue beryl is aquamarine, and pink beryl is morganite, and yellow beryl is heliodor, and white beryl is goshenite, and red beryl is bixbyte. Dave hates it when I sing that song. God bless him, he does not like it. Can you believe I pulled the closing ceremony for North? Now, for the direction of spirit. It's been an emotional day. It's pretty good. Oh, I got a pink one. Look. These are like little fake M&Ms. It's what I could get. They're colored with vegetables. Don't mind me. I need 6 candies. As above, so below. I had to test them and make sure that they were good quality chocolate. I can't be putting just, shitty stuff in here. So, at the heart, I'm arranging those into a little hexagon in the middle. 6 sweet blessings for the year ahead. I have 1 pink, 2 purple, and 3 blue. Just for the record. Yeah, but they also know me, the spirit guides, so of course she's eating it. They were actually really good. If you were here, I would pass the bag around, because that's rude. I'm eating a green one for you, Alexis. Just telling you, I gotta be quality control around here. You never know. Okay, so 6 sweet blessings for 2021. Wisdom. I wish for you wisdom. In every moment and situation, that you'll know what the voice of wisdom sounds like. And I wish for you love. Love from all sources and all directions, seen and unseen. And I wish for your health. I wish for you to be healthy, to remain healthy, to feel strong in your body. I wish for you wealth, prosperity, that you have all the resources you need to make your dreams come true. I wish for you peace, restful sleep, a sense of inner knowing within you that everything's going to be okay. And I wish for you joy, that you can find pure, absolute joy, moments of lighthearted, effervescent fun in the year ahead. Those are my 6 blessings for you. It's pretty, do you see it? Isn't it pretty? The colors of the candies, do you see, are almost the same as the colors of the crystals. It's very, very colorful. Okay, so we began folding it up from the east. We thank the guides and the guardians of the east for being present in this gazpacho, and we give thanks to it. And then we fold up from the south. We thank the guides and the guardians of the south. And then we fold in from the west. We thank the guides and the guardians of the west. And then we fold down from the north. It's like a package. And we thank the guides and the guardians of the north. Okay. And now we seal our gazpacho. Again, always use organic things. This is silk, it's a living fiber. It's safe to return it back to the planet. You just don't want to put anything in there that can't ultimately be broken down. So that's the number one thing. We want to be environmentally conscious when we create a gazpacho, so it's very, very important that we think about these things. Do I need to cut that? Can I double that? Oh, it's a long ass ribbon. We choose a different ribbon. This is a good one. Yeah. These are like, let me try and even these up a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna save that for the end. Okay. So you tie this just like a package as securely as you can so that things don't kind of fly out from it when you are transporting it. can't use really tape or anything. It's best not to seal it with anything. And now, this is all of you. Goes inside. And let's see how it's hard actually. Just gonna leave all of the long layers on top for now. And so the reason I did not add my name to the top of the list is that my name was inside. When I was writing, one of you said my name, at least. And so I put it in the center of the despacho. It might be nice to write my name on the top too. Now, one of my teachers does this, and I like it, so I'm going to do it as a practice. I don't know how traditional it is, but I'm going to do it anyway. So one of my teachers goes into the ash of their sage. I've got a lot of good ash in here. I was going to clean it out the other day, and I decided not to. A little bit at my forehead. A little bit right above the belly button. A little bit on the tops of my feet. You can do this part too if you want. May you walk in beauty. May you know beauty. May you create beauty. May you walk in beauty. And then you take a little bit of the ash on your finger. And anywhere you want on the despacho, just across to mark the 4 directions. I like to use my saliva because it makes it a little bit darker. Why the belly button? So one more time, know beauty, create beauty, right? It's really the center of your being, right? That you, from your core, you create, and then walk in beauty. And then there's your cross. So this whole beautiful thing gets buried. Now you can do the tops of your hands too, but she didn't, so I just kind of do it the way she did it because I loved that she did it that way. Ah, I'm so glad. Yeah, if you have ash, by the way, you should always keep a little bit of ash in a jar somewhere for ceremony. Even if you completely clear out your dish every month, and go and put it in your garden, you should have a little jar of ash because there are some times in ceremony where ash is called for. And if you don't have any, you're going to be like, I don't have any ash. So you don't want to have to go randomly start burning things to produce some ash. Is it pretty traditional? That's good to know. She was one of my less traditional teachers, and the more traditional teacher did not do it. So it's good to know from Aurea that this is actually quite traditional. Isn't it beautiful? You are so welcome. So this will now be buried. It's almost like a time capsule of the energy of you. Yeah, I never throw ash away, but I have a mason jar of ash in my little closet over here where I keep everything. And you can keep crystals in there with it. It's just you should have a little jar marked, you know, sacred ash or sacred offerings or something like that, and just keep it with it. And if you get a little dirty, you know, that makes you more fun in my book. All right, so I want to thank our spirit guides for being here and witnessing us through this process together tonight. I want to thank you for being here. Truly. I would be really sad right now if I didn't think I was seeing you for Elder Council on the 30th. But since I know I get you one more time before the end of the year, I'm like, well, I'll see you next week. But there is a little tinge of sadness because this year's classes are ending. And so with that, just acknowledging that, I do want to say thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you for being here for tonight's ceremony. I hope it was a blessing for you. I want to thank you for being here for your learning all year long and all the incredible transformation work that you did, because you really came to life. And I'm so proud of you. Thank you also for your expressions of gratitude. Alexis, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and she knows this, but I am just so grateful to you. What a co-pilot you were for this crazy ass journey that we went on this year. I don't know if she's here, but if Claire is here, I do want to say thank you to Claire. Claire has been such a force of support and organization and structure for all of us this year. She's not, you know, in our community directly, but she's always behind the scenes looking out for everybody. So thank you, Claire, for all that you do. We really appreciate you. Breezy's excited because she stayed awake. I usually fall asleep during intense ceremonies too, so I'm glad you're able to stay awake. Thank you. I see you. I really, really, really see you. And Morgan has so graciously invited us to a little get-together on Christmas Day, depending on your time zone. So I'm planning to be there, at least for a little while. Hope you guys can stop by and say hi too. Maybe I can grab the kids and they'll say hello. So let me say one more time. You are officially an Angela Fos healer, an initiated priestess, a certified graduate of the Soul Shift program, and a certified crystal healer. You are all of those things as of this moment, and I am so proud to acknowledge you as my student, but also as my peer stepping into these really powerful places and roles that you are. I could not be more proud of you or thankful for you. So thank you, truly. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas if I don't see you, and if you celebrate, I wish you all the blessings of this season. And please know, as you continue to walk your path in this world, whether it's next year in programs or not, that you're always loved and supported. And we will continue to keep an eye on you and send beautiful energy your way. We're super thankful for you. You did it! So Morgan, would you mind, darling, just posting the link one more time? Or if not here, could you post it into our Soul Shift Facebook group? I would really, really appreciate it, because I think quite a few people would love to join, and it just would be a nice way to connect across the time. And you can do Despacho anytime you want. It's a beautiful way of honoring the elements and of releasing, especially releasing something that has meant so much to you and saying thank you for it at the same time. So it's an incredible gesture of gratitude. So, all right, class of 2020, we love you. We're proud of you. I will keep you posted. We will be amending this with all the corrections. Anybody who was left out will not be left out. Do not worry. Thank you for being with me for 2020. I love you. And together we say, Amen, Aho, and on we go. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for being here. Love you, love you, love you. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody. Merry Christmas.